All right, we're live. Joe Moretti, my man. We've got James So. I hope I said that right. CSO.
Yep.
James,
So what?
the man, the myth, the legend. He's actually going to drop some knowledge on us today, Joe. So why don't you take it over, my friend?
All right, James. Like I said, really good friend of mine. One of my favorite collaborators. James is a rockstar agent over in Vancouver. And what we're going to be talking about today is 5 levels of listening. So something that James was telling me about a few weeks ago. So James has a slideshow that is going to absolutely blow anything I've ever created out of the water. I saw this thing earlier, and I'm going to hand it over to you, James. So I'm going to fire up the show and let's go, buddy.
Shoot. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move this stuff around. I can't see. Okay.
You guys can see my screen okay?
Yep. Sounds good from what I can hear.
Okay, guys. So when you guys read this comment, the fish will be the last to discover water. What resonates with you guys when you read that?
It's like they're already in the water. It's all they really know. I don't see what else they could compare it to.
Yeah.
Engulfed in it. So engulfed in it, you don't know it's there.
Exactly. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Feel free to put it in the chat too if you like.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even realize they're in water probably. Like they don't know any different. There's no other reality.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's move on to the next slide, Joe. Okay, so today, I just want to preface this. It's an introduction to the 5 levels of listening. You guys are not going to be masters by any means. You're not going to have a black belt and just like do judo moves and listening, okay? So it's just an introduction here, but hopefully this introduction will get you further in life. But I just want to take a moment and acknowledge to you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to actually perform on this platform and share and give back to the community since you guys given so much back to us. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. I might need to mute some people here for you.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you so much for actually allowing me to share and get back to the community. I love the tribe mentorship here. If anybody else feels the same way, feel free to actually voice your opinion too. I love these guys. These guys are always giving, and I'm hoping to give back.
Thank you for doing it, man. We appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next slide, Joe. Okay. So you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. It's from a great author named Stephen Covey. Have you heard of him, Joe?
No, I haven't actually.
No. I heard somebody got you a good book about that. I'm not quite sure if you read it or not.
I'm just trying to be the setup, man.
Okay. Okay, so this guy, Stephen Covey, his father also wrote a book, The 37 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a great book as well. I do recommend reading that. These guys are like the cornerstones for actually self-improvement. So these are words of wisdom. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, but sometimes we get it in reverse, right? So next slide, Joe.
Oh. Doesn't want to move. There we go.
Okay. So has any of you guys heard about the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle rule?
Yeah.
You guys familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Coach do it a lot.
Yeah, we hear it a lot, but what does it really mean? I mean, you've heard it applied towards listening and speaking, right? So what does that mean? Like 80% of the time listen, 20% of the time speak?
Yeah.
Sounds like, right? Oh, shoot. I got a loaded gun here. Sweet. Hi, Jen. Thanks for making it.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Can anyone see Jen here? I think Joe can give a good introduction here.
That's my wife.
Yeah. It's awesome that she's here.
Jen, what's up, girl?
Hey, what's up, Jason?
Good to see you.
So this is Joe's better half here.
It is. It is.
And so for all the replays and the role plays that you guys did with Joe, she's the anonymous Jen that he always uses in the role plays. So I wanted to bring her aboard because I wanted to hold accountability. And then I wanted engagement in this class as well. because so many times we go through classes and we're just nonchalantly just watching slides. And I want to make a little bet here. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the slap bet.
Oh,
You guys familiar with the slap bet? No? Okay, so the slap bet, let me put it in the chat here for you.
Wow, this thing just popped off.
Did it? Is this the first time visit for Jen?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Jen.
Thanks, James.
James is a deep guy. We got to know him, and this guy gets deep. I love that about him. He's there's no fluff in the conversation. It gets really deep and it gets really genuine and real quickly, and I love that.
Perfect. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat here.
The slap bet.
Yeah, let's slap it. Oh, I can't put it in the chat now. Okay, no worries.
Should be able to put it in the chat.
No, I can't share it in the chat.
Well,
Or just fill us in, man.
tell us about the slap bet, James.
Okay. So the slap bet is an altered version of this. Okay. So I want to make a bet with Joe, since he really believes in us and everyone that can actually listen well. I'm going to ask a couple of questions at the end and see if we can pass this test together. And I want to see how many people are here. There's 39 people, Joe. Okay. So it just takes one person to get it right. So what are the odds? Everyone's probably going to listen and probably going to have a different opinion about something. And I'm going to put up some images and see if they get it right. Now, if they don't get it right, there's 39 people in this class, Joe. If they don't get it right, the slap bet continues. So that's why I called Jen in here. I was thinking, who can slap Joe and have no repercussions?
I don't know about no repercussions.
So let me frame that for a second. So the slap bet, it'll be light. It'll be like 1 inch away from the face. I was hoping to share the rules here, but the slap bet rules. And it's a board game. It says it's from the ages of 9 to 99. Okay, Joe? So there's no age discrepancy, okay? So what happens is if you lose, Joe, and I'm hoping you take this bet, is that Jen gets to slap you across the face from 1 inch away.
Oh,
And
man.
you gotta record it. And I'm not sure, is Caitlin in here?
I don't know if Caitlin's in here, but Paige is.
Okay.
Paige can record.
Paige is here. Awesome. So we need a videographer actually to record this in slow motion. And if Paige is in here, Jason, could you be actually the slap commissioner? We need a slap commissioner.
Done. I would love to slap Joe in the face.
No. That's the slap executioner. That's Jen. That's Jen's job. So you get to be the commissioner where you get to vote if that's actually true or not. If he actually passes. If he wins, so forth, right? I'll send you over the rules. I was hoping to share it. But let's get the slap bet going. Joe?
Hey, let's go. Let's do it.
Do you really believe in the class here? There's 39
I believe
people.
in
There's
the
40
class.
people here. There's 40 people, Joe.
I
40
believe in
people.
I believe in it.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for joining us, Jen.
Yeah. So do you really want me to actually hit him?
It's called a slap. I don't know if you call it a hit, but yeah, you can just start it from here, like an inch away, and then start recording slow motion and just slap it.
Jeez.
Paige will record it. Don't worry.
Thanks, Paige.
It's an awesome bet. So Paige is in here, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'll definitely record it.
Okay, slow mo, please.
Perfect.
Okay.
You want to see that jostle in Joe's face? Just
Yep.
watch it. Okay, moving on. 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle. So we've heard about people talking about this, and you've heard it applied towards, like sales or closing or what so forth, and in listening and speaking. What does that mean to you guys when you guys hear that? Like if somebody said to you, oh, okay, listen 4 times as much as you speak. How are you interpreting that?
I think the point is really taking the time to ask thoughtful questions and then actually listening to the answers and not sitting there trying to formulate your next question, but actually listening with the intent not to respond.
Yeah. True. Anybody else? How do you guys interpret it?
We've got one person, Daniel Herman says, listen to understand, not reply, which was what I think too.
Mhm. So how do you guys understand when you guys talk about understanding? You guys just listen to the words?
I think it's important to have skills so that you, even if you have this concept internalized and you intend to do so, you have to have the skill where you can actually do it without worrying about fumbling what you're going to say or ask next.
Love it.
Love it. Great
Yeah.
feedback there, guys. Great feedback. Okay. So let's see.
Joel intuitively go to the next slide for you, right, Joe?
You got it.
Done.
Okay, so hearing and listening. Do you guys know what the difference is? You guys always hear this. Are you hearing me? Are you listening? So how do you guys interpret those words? Are they
Hearing is like actually like hearing, like you can hear noise, you can hear dogs barking, but listening is actually focusing and paying attention as to the message that you're hearing.
Exactly. Joe, you've been reading my slides, huh? Okay.
Actually, no, I haven't.
No? Wow, pretty good, Joe.
I just don't want to get hit. Again.
Awesome. Yeah, so hearing is basically the noise surrounding us. It's always going on. Car alarms, fan spinning, music, people talking, right? But listening is really just focusing on what we want to hear within that environment. Okay, so next slide, Joe. Okay. So when people talk, listen completely. Most people never listen. Ernest Hemingway. I don't know if you guys know Ernest Hemingway. Pretty smart guy.
Love that quote, by the way.
So let me ask you guys, what does it mean to you to be a great listener other than just the words?
Allowing people to finish the message, I think, is a big one.
Okay.
Not jumping in.
That's words.
To understand what's being conveyed.
Yeah.
I also interpreting the words in the way because it could be so many different things based on their body language and tonality. It's like, what do you really mean besides the face value of it?
Honestly, like one of the most amazing feelings in the world is when you're having a conversation with someone and you can tell that they're fully engaged and listening, and you are too. I can only say that I feel the most human in those moments. And it's probably the one thing that I love the most with my wife is like when we go on like a coffee date where we literally turn our phones off for like 2 hours and we just sit and no other distractions. We just sit and talk. And what happens is it takes like 5-10 minutes to get into a groove. But once we get into it, it's unbelievable. Like I feel super human.
Yeah.
Not like an AI robot going around.
Great point, Jay. Okay. So next slide, Joe.
We got her.
You won't even need to say that, James. We got you. We'll read your mind because we're going to be actively listening the entire time.
Okay, so let me share with you my interpretation of a good listener. A good listener learns to fit the right pieces that's been heard from in a more robust way of listening, to figure out the pieces in the puzzle in which the speaker sees things.
So it almost sounds like understanding perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I think you read my email, right, Joe?
I did.
Yeah. So you want to tell a quick story of how I became a speaker on this event here?
Oh, you run with that one, man. You put it a lot more eloquently than I did.
Okay. So I basically, he messages me out of the blue saying, hey, do you mind being a guest speaker about talking about the 5 levels? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he messaged me back. He goes out for Tuesday. So I thought, okay, this is Monday. I'm expecting it for tomorrow. Then I messaged him back thinking like I think it's like back and forth of communication, but we were totally mishearing each other because we weren't totally listening. I was assuming something, he was assuming something, right? And it just kept going on back and forth. And as it evolved through the week, I think Paige knows, I was emailing him thinking, okay, so you're going to go through this curriculum. I'm assuming that they already had a curriculum in play. And so I thought to myself quickly, okay, is he looking at the right materials? I'll send him over the right source materials. And then he says, Jim, it's for next Tuesday. It's not for tomorrow. So I thought, oh, shoot. Okay. And then, so forth, back and forth. He was saying, yeah, could you just give us a hand and just walk over the 5 materials and just, give your personal opinions about it? So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they have a curriculum going and I'm just going to talk for a few minutes and move forward from that. And then it just evolved where every email he was relaying messages where, hey, man, it's your show. It's all you, man. And I was just thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about? He just told me just to help out in the first time. And now it's escalating day after day to the very last day of the week where it's basically my show. I was just thinking, Jesus Christ, for a couple of guys that were talking about listening, we sure aren't listening. So that's my rant.
Nice.
So Now, before we get to the deeper levels of level 5, can you go to the next slide, Joe?
All right, we're on the presidential debate.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with 1960s presidential debate? Anyone?
It was the first one on television.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, it says that there. My bad. I remember it from history class.
Yeah. So, okay, let me give you a brief history and story about this. Okay. This was a time in the 60s that the television and radio were used domestically throughout the nation to express their viewpoints. Okay. So it was important because we had to hear what each party said, and you wanted to actually engage and understand each other, right? To see which one is the better candidate. Now, a funny thing happened in this debate happened with the majority of the population listening via radio and the other masses listened while watching it on TV. Okay. So different polls came together to form a collective consensus on what happened. For the radio listeners, they believed and felt Nixon won the debate. But for the TV listeners, they believed and felt JFK won the debate. How is it possible that under the same nation, these two could be divided in the interpretation of the debate? Both parties said and did the exact same thing on radio and television. So what was the separating factor that made the majority of the television viewers sway their opinion and felt that JFK won was more honest and viable for the job of presidency over Nixon?
Facial recognition, body language.
Yeah, non-auditory language.
Charisma.
Mm-hmm. Good points, guys. Good points. Okay, so that's true. Everything you said there is totally true. So the fact that there's a dimension there that was missing, just on video and audio, right? They were saying the same things, but people are interpreting it differently, all from just visual cues. So can you go to the next slide, Joe?
Sure can.
Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a little exercise here. I'm going to type in the chat here a message. Okay.
Some deep squats. I like it.
Are you guys in the chat?
Yep.
Can you read my message?
Yeah,
How would you guys interpret that?
that you agree.
That I agree? I want to
That you're affirming. Because I think the word "yeah," I like. Oh, you quoted it. Yeah, I love cupcakes and rainbows.
Mhm. Anybody else?
Like you're affirming some kind of notion. I think because you have the word "yeah" in there.
Debbie Lucci says, I love them, but need to get them off. I love the cupcakes, and they're hanging around, though, for years now.
Anybody else? Put in the chat, what do you guys feel when you guys interpret that text? Positive, negative, neutral?
It's positive for me. It's agreeable. Some people are saying a lot of positive. Some people are confused. Huh? Natural sarcasm.
Sorry, neutral.
Positive, positive, positive. Negative based on the picture.
Sarcastic. Some people are saying it's sarcastic. Negative. Joe Langdon thinks it's negative.
Negative, okay.
Negative based on the picture. Some people are saying it depends on the tone and the word being used and how it's emphasized. Age thinks it's negative too.
Interesting.
Somebody says they're planning a birthday party.
Zach, good one. Does not seem to correlate. Okay.
Aaron Cato is just still confused. He's like, I have no clue what is going on right now.
Kasha looks confused too. I see him. Good to see you, bud.
There's a couple practical.
He's shaking his head. I see him. Body language.
What's up?
This makes no freaking sense, man.
How does this have to do with real estate is what I can see a few of them.
Okay. So let me add another dimension since you guys just read the words. I want to say it in tonality now. Okay. Yeah, I love cupcakes and rainbows. Yeah, I love cupcakes and rainbows.
I think there's a tad of sarcasm there.
Put it in the chat. See what everyone else says. Cupcakes and rainbows are almost the same thing, all different colors.
Sounds like you have a problem. You can't help it. You're gonna stop eating them or something.
Mhm. So how do you guys interpret it now versus the first time?
I've gotten more confused. It's kind of like I'm Ron Burgundy.
60% of the time, it works every time. Same. Okay. Anybody else? Neutral sounds like a response to someone else. Did anyone have a different opinion from their original one? No? Same?
Same.
Same? Okay.
Yeah.
Not
So
genuine.
camera.
People felt like it wasn't genuine.
Okay. So now I'm going to add video. Okay. Visual, audio, right? In the words. Okay. So if I was going to say, yeah, I love cupcakes and rainbows. Is that more like, do you guys decipher it differently?
Yeah, sarcasm is more.
It's more clear, right?
It was more
Yeah.
sarcasm there for sure.
Okay. So versus the first time, second time, and third time, you guys can clearly see a difference, right?
Yeah, definitely. I could feel even more sarcasm there.
I'm a sarcastic guy.
Next slide.
Yeah. Okay, have you guys heard of the 738-55 rule? Albert Mehrabian's. Has anyone heard of it?
Yeah. I think 7% of your the impact of your communication comes from the words, and I believe 38 from I forget which one of the two. 38, 55 refer to body language and tonality, I believe.
Good stuff, Joe.
Thank you.
So say that. That's
So move on to the next slide and I'll show you guys. So in this graph that he created, it's a theory, it's a rule. The 738-55, which Joe mentioned earlier, right? Rule is a theory that seeks to quantify how much meaning is communicated via verbal and nonverbal communication methods. His theory states that only 7% of the communication is in the words that we use, while 38% is from the tonality and the cadence. The biggest factor in communications was 55% from body language alone.
That's huge.
So from the examples that we did, the exercise earlier, can you see the difference when I'm showing you the chart here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So next slide, Joe. Okay. So think back to the caveman, okay? And other animals and how they communicated. No words, just tones, cadence, and body language. It's the unspoken language of the jungle. And as we evolved, we created words to describe meaning for our feelings and believed that those words alone later in life would connect the listener to what we meant. Okay. Can you guys relate to that message there? I'm seeing a couple of nods and seeing a couple of shakes. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so let's start moving on to the listening levels. The next slide. Joe, can you guys help me out here? Can you guys?
Listening level 1. Ignore the speaker. So the first level of listening. So in level 1, we choose not to listen to the speaker. We may hear noise, but rather than paying attention to the words, we're focused on other things. Compiling a to-do list, thinking about a plan for later, reading emails, social media posts, or waiting for the speaker to be silent so we can jump in. We change the subject to speak about what we want to speak about. In short, we are not present and we are not paying attention.
Yeah, that's
First
me.
level.
If there's an NBA game, game 7, NBA Finals game 7 with my beloved Lakers, forget about it. You're being ignored. Anyone else has this problem too? I'm pretty sure a lot of us have this problem watching sports.
Yeah, 100%. My wife does this to me all the time, and I'm sure I do it to her too.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend right here, just talking and watching the game. Love you. And I just keep watching. I'm just like, yeah. Sorry.
She's like, you're not hearing me. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Okay. So Next slide, Joe.
Yep.
Listening level 2, focus on me. In level 2, we choose to pay attention to the speaker through the lens of the gremlin, or that inner critic inside our head, which compares the perspective of the speaker with our own and judgment, with the one who is the speaker in the context of us. Like level 1, level 2 gives us no opportunity to be curious, as our thoughts are focused on our needs rather than those of the speaker. Me, me, me.
Who's guilty of this? I'm guilty of this. We tend to be guilty of this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying like to never do this stuff. Like if I was going to go Burger King and they're like, Burger King, how can I help you? I'm not going to be, how does fries feeling today? Right. Let's just be direct with them, right? It's just part of the levels of communication, right?
Right.
Level 3.
Next slide.
All right. Oh, here we go. Can anyone think of someone like this that you've talked to before? Maybe it's you. We've all done this at times. How does it feel when someone listens to you like this? Was there a deep connection within the conversation?
I think this is a good question for Jen. When somebody watches sports here, maybe the Yankees?
Yeah, it depends. Like he'll fully tune me out if it's an important game. Sorry, Joe. It's true.
Yeah, we're all guilty of this, right? So
Yeah.
how does that make you feel, Jen?
Well, it's been a long time now, so to be honest, I just don't talk to him.
That's a great.
We have our
issue.
balance, so I just ignore him when he does his thing, and
Okay. So you go to level 1 while he's on level 2. Okay, I got you. Good stuff. I got you back, Joe. She's on level 1.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Okay.
Sorry, Joe.
It's okay.
You don't like it when I talk during the games. You kind of get rattled, So,
Yeah, it's hard to do. Like it's like that weird balance of like trying to do two things at once, right?
yeah, because I know he feels guilty, to be honest, not paying attention to me. So he doesn't get a lot of time to himself because he's really busy. So when he does actually sit down to a game, I let him do his thing and let him have that moment. So
Awesome.
Wow. You should talk to Natasha about that, Jen.
She's a catch, Joe.
There you go.
Catch.
Absolutely.
Okay, so on to the next one, guys.
I think I remember when people, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Joe. What are you gonna say?
When people do that in conversations to me, I'm quick to go back to not caring the next time I'm in a conversation with them.
Yeah.
I find that carries over with me. So the next time I'm talking to that person or whatever, as soon as I get a sign of it, I'm reminded.
Yeah.
And then I find that I'm kind of standoffish.
Yeah, it triggers you, right?
Yeah.
Just like, if you don't give two shits about me, I'm not gonna give two shits about you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to level 2, I'm gonna go down to level 1, right? It's funny how it works.
Yeah, it's like a tit for tat, right?
Yeah. But on the flip side to that, if someone's actually going deeper with you, then it opens you up, right?
No, for sure. So listening level 3, focus on you. In level 3, as the listener, we pay attention to the speaker, and our gremlin voice judges the speaker. They pay attention to what is being said and jump to thinking about a solution, judging the speaker's situation, and telling him or her what to do, even if the advice is not requested.
You guys know people like this?
Yeah, it's like it's up there with like the lowest level of empathy, right? Where all you're trying to do is either find a silver lining or solution without understanding the emotional charge behind the actual message itself.
Yeah.
Jay, would you say, now I'm going to stereotype it a little bit, but would you say that like men do this a lot to women? Because like what I've found is often women like to be heard, but they're not looking for a solution to their problem. They just want to be heard. Like they want to be heard and understood.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes my stupid male brain will kick in and I try and solve what's being given to me.
Yeah.
And I know that's not what I should be doing. So I like have taught myself to like slow down and not do that. But do you think that this is kind of that form of listening? Is that what?
Yeah, this is just the basics, Jay. I mean, what you're just discussing there is in a book called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus.
Right.
I bought that book. I'll tell you a personal story of mine. So when I was younger, I was stupid. I was kind of blind and just like thinking on levels of on the lower levels. So I go on a date, super excited. We had a great time. I take her home, and she says to me, "You want to come up for coffee?" And I'm oblivious to this. I don't drink coffee. So I'm like, so sorry, I don't drink coffee, but maybe next time. So I drive off, and the date's pretty much ended. 2 years later, our mutual friend says to me, "Hey, why'd you brush her off?" And I was just thinking, what do you mean? I brushed her off? She brushed me off. Like, I don't get it. Like, what's going on? 2 years, because I was oblivious to it. Like, going up for coffee means totally different things to me when I was at that age, right? Because I wasn't listening. But if I found somebody that was a woman that told me, right, that could give me proper feedback, going up for coffee is not going up for coffee, right? I should have just shut my mouth and went up there.
And I say stereotype because it's not always true. Thank you for reminding me, Debbie Lucci. Thank you for that. It's not always correct, and you're 100% right. Because there's times where I would like to use that, and I do. I would like to just vent, and I don't want anybody to solve my problem. I just kind of want to get it out so it's off my chest, and then I can move on. Sort of like my process as an extrovert sometimes, and I do it with you, Joe. We do it with each other sometimes.
We do.
Just dump, let it out, and then I'm like, you feel better? You're like, yep. I'm like, I feel better too. Let's move on. So it can be a very effective way to communicate. And sometimes, you'll just activate that level 3 listening where you listen, but you're not trying to listen too deeply because what's going on right now is more of just a vent session.
Yeah.
I think part of that too is like that you start to fill in the gaps from your own perspective, right? And not necessarily from the person that you're actually listening to, right? Like, somebody's giving you information and then you start thinking of it from your perspective and filling in the gaps. And like anytime even if you put an incomplete sentence in front of somebody with blanks, like naturally you're going to try and fill in those blanks. Just happens, right?
Yeah.
So.
Jamie, man, mastermind here. You're reading ahead of the charts here. What's going on? Good to see you, bud.
I had to get in here somewhere, right?
Okay.
So level 3 listening example. So speaker, hey, I was thinking I should sell my house and condo and upsize to a house. And
I wouldn't do that, Joe. No. Do you know the hit you're going to take on the realtor's commission, selling and buying, plus the property taxes? Jesus, what are you, nuts? No. Blah, blah, blah. You guys know about people like this, right? Where you couldn't even get your thoughts out of your mouth, your full thoughts, but people just cut you off. It's a habit. Because it's just like what Jamie was saying. We assume what the person's thinking just from a little tidbit of information that we're getting from them. And we don't allow the speaker to speak. And we don't allow our minds to actually free up to actually try to interpret his perspective. We're so busy giving our perspective, right? And as realtors, that's kind of a habit because people always look to us for information. But it's sort of like a doctor. They did a study where the average response time for a doctor was 18 seconds through North America. 18 seconds.
Wow.
How good of a diagnosis is that doctor? Would there be a higher chance of a misdiagnosis within 18 seconds or lower portion? 18 seconds blew my mind. I was just thinking, you're going to a doctor and he's supposed to diagnose you and the average time is 18 seconds. Now they did a reverse study on that and they saw that if the doctor spent 5 minutes or 10 minutes just diagnosing them, getting to know them, even though they believe that they have a solution in their head, it actually created a bit deeper connection. And in return, the patients actually believed that they had better service and these doctors were a lot more efficient at what they were doing. Just from listening, right?
Actually makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so next slide.
Level 3 listening. In many cases, listening on level 3 would lead to over talking and cutting people off with their own biased opinions, which may lead to being confrontational and combative. Most people are oblivious to their communication levels and wonder why people take offense to them in a conversation.
You guys know people like this?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm guilty of this one myself, honestly.
How so, Joe?
Because I never really saw it in this perspective, because we're only on number 3, right? And some people that this is already like unbiased, is already two-sided enough. And as long as you throw in your little justifications here and there and you make your verbiage scrutiny proof, but this is still not emotionally, because this discounts a lot of empathy, and I'm not naturally very empathetic. I've had to learn that over time more cognitively, and like it's kind of like a mirror being pointed at me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Joe. Appreciate it.
Well, and I think we can probably, most of us can say we've probably done this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm guilty of it.
Don't like to admit it, but I mean, it's the truth. I've done it 100%. And it drives my wife crazy sometimes when I do it. She's very detail orientated, and I'm not naturally detail orientated. So she'll give me like really long winded explanations sometimes.
Mhm.
And I already know the punchline before she's done. So I'll do this, and I shouldn't. And that's something I'm working on, because yeah, seeing it like this, it's just like a mirror in your face for sure.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, there's a question here. Hold on. How would you suggest communicating if the seller is level 3?
So how would you suggest communicating at the seller's level?
So if you have a seller who's in level 3.
Okay, I'm gonna temper that question until the end of this, and we'll review that right after.
Okay.
Thanks, Debbie.
We'll come back to it, Debbie.
Okay, so moving on to listening level number 4, focus
got it.
on understanding. Shoot.
There we go. Level 4 listening. In level 4, we choose to relinquish control over the outcome of the conversation and focus completely on the speaker. We intentionally, actively listen to what is being said and how it is said, but we tend to judge. Instead, we are trying to be receptive and open to the speaker, seeking to understand what the speaker is saying, but through the lens of our own experiences, and judging the person that is sharing it based on our own values or experiences.
Jamie Wicks, congratulations. Level 4, Mr. Psychic here. That's exactly what Jamie was saying. Anybody can relate to this? This is probably the upper echelon of what people think and start listening with. Okay, so what's the next slide, Joe? But I'm kind of out of sequence here.
Yeah, level 4 listening. This is where most people listen up to. Level 4 is considered the upper echelon of listening for most others. Before you assume, learn the facts. Before you judge, understand why. Before you hurt someone, feel. Before you speak, think.
Okay, this one's big. I always tell people, don't shoot first and ask questions later. It's not guilty until proven innocent. It's innocent until proven guilty for a reason. So if you're one of those people that immediately gets on the offensive and like starts getting after somebody, I would suggest that you go into level 4 active listening first by asking some good questions, doing the 80-20 rule, and then really seeking to understand the facts first, why. And I think this is probably a really good exercise for anybody that tends to be a little bit hot-headed or quick to point the finger at somebody. I'd say level 4 listening is probably an important one.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to temper that too, Jay. I'm going to challenge you on that in a bit. So let's go into the next one.
You know my name, not my story. Unfortunately, we cannot connect deeply with another and fully understand the other's perspective listening to them in this way. So that's the level 4. If you're using level 4, James, is that what this is saying?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we do get an understanding, like what you said, and you can do the 80-20 rule, but that's not fully there. That just partially gets you there.
Right.
But you're still looking at it through your own perspective.
Right.
Like, I'll give you an analogy. If we all had a coloring book with different pictures in it with animals, we can all relate looking at the same coloring book, and we can all probably guess the same animal. That's a rabbit, that's a horse, that's a parrot, whatever, right? But if I told you to color it in, and everyone colored in the coloring book, the exact same coloring books, odds are our coloring books are going to look a little bit different from everybody else's. Even though we can agree that that's a parrot and that's a rabbit and that's a horse, right? So we make the world with our minds, right? And the coloring book is something that we use in words to describe things, but in reality, that's not the full picture. Your coloring of, let's say, a rabbit versus mine is probably going to be different, right? But everybody else can agree that's a rabbit. How many of you guys ever look up, have you guys ever looked up a word in the dictionary and you go, what the hell does this mean? And then you see two interpretations of it. And you're like, that didn't add clarity towards it. There's two definitions in there. And it makes you even more confused, right?
Or you like Google a word and you see that there's all these different explanations of it. And then you're like, okay,
Which
you pick
one
the
is it?
one that you pick the one that makes sense to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the black swan. So if I said, okay, what's the color of a swan? If I said, buy me a swan, and everybody would probably, most of us would be looking for a white swan, and here's your swan. Here's a white swan, right? That's what you asked for, right? A swan. But if you go to Australia, the swans are black. So if you said the same thing to a person in Australia, they're like, that's not a swan. What the hell's that? A white swan? What the hell's this? What the hell are you talking about? So everybody has their own different opinions, right? Through their lens, through the world. And I think that's where there's a big disconnect, because we assume a lot of times that our picture of a parrot or of a rabbit is the same as somebody else's, right? So on to the next one, Joe.
Yeah, before we jump, it's funny. I mean, anybody's ever done any scripting with me before, we talk a lot about just interpreting words, right? What words can mean and timelines. And I always use the example of the word clean, right? Clean or nice or happy. It's one of those words that's so open for interpretation, and it's interpretation through the receiver's lens. Like, for example, clean. I think my office is clean. I truly do. If you ask Jen, is my office clean? She'd be like, no, it's not. Yeah. Right. So it's again, it's those different levels. Like if she asked me to clean the kitchen, what I do and what her expectation is totally different.
Exactly. Thanks for sharing, Joe. I got the same story. Like, we're all realtors here. And I was dealing with a prospect, and I was, he's just doing the standard information. What are you looking for? Like new. I just want new. I don't want anything old. I want new. It has to be brand new. And I was like, okay. So luckily I had an experience of trying to dig deeper. And I was asking this person, so what does new look like to you? They're like, oh, nothing over 12 years, 12 to 15 years. And I'm like, that's new to you? Like anything, as long as it's under 12 years, that's new to you? Like everyone has their own definition of words a lot of times, right? We just have to find out what those words mean to them. So Jay, can you help me on level 5 here?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point that you just brought up. It's very interesting, right? Because some people would be like, oh yeah, new. So they'd think, oh, they're only looking for new construction. Truth is they weren't actively listening enough to really understand. So listening is not understanding the words of the question asked. Listening is understanding why the question was asked in the first place. Listening level number 5, focusing on us. Simon Sinek.
Yeah. Sharp dude.
Yeah. We have no perceived ideas about the outcome or what we think the speaker should do. We have the opportunity to be curious and to explore possibilities.
So that's the connection that Simon was talking about. And if you can see the two hands, there's a lot of words in there that actually help you connect, right?
Man, can you imagine if we did this on a regular basis, where we like literally did this level 5 listening, how different outcomes and relationships could be? I mean, it's actually crazy. Like looking at these 5 steps and just kind of recognizing them. This is the one where like the magic happens in life for sure.
Okay.
Although completely relinquishing control can create a deep connection, sometimes it does not serve us to stay ambiguous when we have a stake in the outcome of the conversation.
So yeah, what you were just saying there, Jay, it's the intent is there, but sometimes it doesn't really serve us, even if we're at level 5. Right? So I was hoping to get through like the example I said earlier, going through Burger King. Burger King, how can I help you? You're not going to have these level 5 conversations. You just want your damn burger and you want to go, right? That's okay. So I don't want anyone to assume that these level 5s, like, okay, my whole life I got to live on level 5. That's kind of ridiculous. It's not going to happen. But the fact that you guys know that this is a level 5 and you guys can navigate through that and adjust and use it whenever you want, that's a different story. Versus someone that's oblivious to it, that doesn't even know that it exists, and they just keep going through life with level 2s, level 1s, level 3s. That's a whole different experience in life, right? So on to the next one, Joe.
Level 5, we choose to intentionally, actively listen and remain invested in the outcome of the conversation. We want to understand the perspectives of others and work together to understand the needs of everyone and determine what to do next.
Yeah. Does this resonate with you guys, Joe, Jay? As you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are leaders, so this
Yeah.
should recognize it.
Yeah.
Even the people that aren't leaders, it should resonate with you because we're a tribe, right?
Well, and as we're reading this, you realize like how seldom this type of listening actually happens. Generally, people will get as high as maybe a 3 or 4.
Mhm.
I don't know what your thoughts are, Joe, but that's what
I think it's generally level 3, because you kind of listen to not even so much interpret the message, but you listen to give your advice, your thoughts, your opinions half the time before the message is even delivered. Right? You're sort of jumping in with a solution. And I think that's something that this industry is known for, right? Like just jumping in, bull by the horns, I'm going to do this, right? Versus actually hearing what the message is.
I mean, I think in society, we're getting a little more impatient. That's why we don't have that patience. When I watch videos, I just want to know the content right away, right? So when I'm listening to somebody else, I got to switch gears. I can't be in the same YouTube gears where I'm watching stuff at 2 times the speed and just give me the content, right? If I'm talking to another human being, I got to shift gears. Okay, so the next slide, Joe.
When you think of level 5 listening, I want you to picture people as such.
So when you look at this relationship here, I think anybody that's a parent can probably understand this is probably more of a level 5. I'm not saying you do it all the time, but just imagine like if you're talking to a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old, or kids that can't talk. They just like I remember my friends' kids, they can't talk to me in words, but we're communicating. He's tapping me on my shoulder and pointing to where he wants to go, and I got to figure out what he means. Oh, you want that toy? You want this cake? You want this drink? Right? We're automatically switching up to level 5 because our empathy is there because we care about somebody. It doesn't matter what the words are coming out. We're just trying to figure out what they're trying to say to us, right? I see Joe, you're down there. Mr. Langdon, you're nodding your head. Jamie, you guys got kids. Kind of jealous. Hope you guys appreciate it.
Kids, pets. It's all like, it's funny. I'm just thinking about all these times where, you're just like trying to communicate, finding ways to figure out what's going on or what somebody needs, and them not necessarily even being able to properly explain it to you or even speak words, right? Yeah.
But you're coming from a level of empathy and connection, right? Giving, right? Which builds a better bond and a better chance of understanding. So next one. So
Nelson Mandela.
So Jay, you were talking about this. What would it be like if you walked through life talking at this level? Now, I'm not saying Nelson Mandela does it all the time, but I'm pretty sure he does it quite a bit of the time compared to us, right?
Yeah, you'd have to.
And think about the connections he's made. So here's another one. The Dalai Lama and Deepak Chopra, 2 opposing views with different values, but they still can connect and show understanding and empathy with one another. So when you're thinking about like going through life and trying to connect with someone, right? Even if they don't agree with you or you don't agree with them, is it possible? And clearly it is. There's people out there like this. They do it all the time. That's their default. Our default is level 2, level 3, right? Closed-minded, judging from our personal perspectives. But we don't learn anything. We don't grow as an individual, right? We try to, we show up here. Okay, so let's take a moment and think. How would these people listen to you? How would they make you feel? Like if you're talking to the Dalai Lama or Nelson Mandela or Deepak Chopra, what attributes would they have that you would admire that connects with you? Do you think that they'd be talking at level 1, level 2, cutting you off, level 3, even level 4?
Yeah, I think just from body language to, thinking before they speak, allowing you to get your message out.
Patience, right? Just curiosity. I've learned that that's the powerful word, curiosity. Now I want to go back to that picture with the child and the mother. When the child can't communicate in words, the mother's always curious, right? They're more they're more connected. I mean, Jay, I hear you talking about your daughter, right? We're talking about the word bliss. You're so connected that even if you get it wrong, you have a higher chance of getting it right because you're so connected to that person, right? You're not really judging them that hard. We have a habit of judging, but just to know that on the flip side of that judgment, we lose the ability to connect and understand, right? And we do it with our kids a lot easier where we get to that level because we care about them. It's our blood, right? Okay, so here's a recap of the 5 listening levels. Can anyone see it?
Yep.
Okay, so level 1, ignoring, right? We talked about that. Level 2, pretend listening, right? Yeah, yap, kiss, watch the TV show. Level 3, selective listening, right? Picking out what you want to hear, right? Level 4, attentive listening, but still judging with their own perspective. And then level 5, empathic listening. Now, whose frame of reference are we trying to hear when we're going through these levels here?
Thanks.
So could you say that again?
Clients?
Yeah. Forget clients, forget real estate, just in general. If we were speaking with somebody, whose frame of reference are we trying to hear?
Speaker.
Yeah. But does it seem that way?
No, we're just trying to interrupt to put our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions over top of that message.
Yeah, we're trying to solve our own problems, right? And if we hear another problem, like Jay said, he wants to just solve the problem like every man, right? I have a habit of doing that too. A lot of my exes bitch slap me for doing that. That's just a habit of what we do because we're not aware of what our state is and what the other person's thinking about.
I think that, sorry to comment on that, wait for my turn to speak on that. But I think that's more just so that guys read the book and they go, okay, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and actually listen for once. And women read the book and they go, yeah, the guy has a tendency to open his mouth and start solving my problems right off the bat. So it just gives people a little bit more time to discuss or to understand what their partner is doing. I don't think it's a science or anything like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, I got you.
But I think if people are wondering how can I improve my conversion, how can I be better with my clients, how do I get more advocacy? Ask yourself, how often are you doing empathetic listening with the people that you're communicating with? And even just through this call, it's amazing to watch because I observe body behaviors. But you see people in 1 listening, some in 2, some in 3. But how many people are actively empathetically listening? And ask yourself that question seriously. How often are you actually empathetically listening? And you'd realize it's probably not as much as you think. And if you worked on that alone, you would improve your conversion rate huge.
Yeah. Have you ever met other realtors? I mean, we have a bad stigma because we're realtors, right? I think they showed a chart where how much people in general in the public respect us or trust us. And we're in the bottom feeders. It's that scarcity mindset, right? And they have that commission breath when they talk to people. It's all about the commission breath, right? Has nothing to do with connection. They may fake it, but the people can tell that they're fake. So next frame, Joe. Okay.
Here's the chart that shows an X and Y axis for empathetic listening, which leads to different connections.
So can you guys read the chart? So yeah, on the X axis right here versus the Y axis, effort versus understanding engagement, right? And the goal is actually head diagonally up, right? So you guys can probably relate to a lot of these words here, right? Mm-hmm. And the lower you are, it's like you're at the pity stage. I'm sorry for you. Another stage would be sympathy. I feel for you. And the 5th one we're talking about was empathy. I feel with you, as opposed to feeling for you. Feeling with you is totally different environment. This is a 6-part level, but we'll talk about it next time. It's too deep for you guys right now. But I just want you to visually see where the tone is, where you're headed, right? When you're trying to connect with someone. Okay, on to the next slide, guys. Okay. So the choice is up to you. I'm just sharing with you what other people have discovered and have valued to enrich their lives, be it relations, business, or family. Now this ties in with the first slide, right? Who's the last one to know that they're in water? It's the fish. So I'm hoping I actually gave you guys value here where you can realize that you have the actual choice to actually get out of this, right? I think I'm kind of lost here. Joe, can you go to the next slide? I'm not quite sure yet.
Yep. Warren Buffett.
Yeah, okay. So back to the next slide, sorry. Go back.
Sure.
Finish the topic here. So in life, it's like, I lost my train of thought here. I'm trying to follow some here. Okay. No, I should go back to the other slide. Sorry, Joe. Okay, can you read this, Joe?
In my office, you will not see the degree I have from the University of Nebraska or the master's degree I have from Columbia University, but you'll see the certificate I got from Dale Carnegie's course.
Yeah, so these 5 levels, they're in the book here. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And he treasures this book. He said it changed his life. Buffett considers this one of his pillars for success in life. These 5 levels are described in this book. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. He said it changed his life forever. So the next one. So I got these principles. See, that's the funny thing. I read that book, Dale Carnegie, and I thought, okay, I want to be like Warren Buffett, but it didn't resonate with me. So it kind of like, I wasn't listening when I was reading the book. I got some of the principles, but I didn't totally get it until my mentor actually showed me this book. It's a bit more modern. And it's a book called The Power of Curiosity by Kathy Taberner Siggins, which is the daughter, and Kirsten Siggins, which is the mother. They're from BC. They're from the Okanagan, I believe. And they're fantastic people. If you read the book, you'll get a deeper insight of what we're talking about today. So what's the next slide here? Okay, so I just want to give you a summary here. I'm not expecting you guys to learn this stuff, but if you're thinking about level 5, thinking about improving yourself, like Jason said, to have these deeper connections, these are a lot of the attributes that you want to attain. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen next year. It's a growing process, right? That you always got to observe and actually tweak and get better at. Hey, Jen's still here. I thought she had to leave.
She did. She's actually she's running away right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she had an appointment at 2.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Jen. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick rundown here. Commit to listen, level 1. Level 2, be present. Level 3, seek to understand. Level 4, be open-minded and curious. Curious is a strong word here. Number 5, suspend judgment. So what Jay was talking about, slow it down, stop judging, and start listening. Number 6, paraphrase. Paraphrasing shows in science that you're listening. It shows and it relates to the other person to open up and connect with you. If you can't paraphrase, you're in trouble because it shows that you're not listening. Reflect emotions, watching body language, so forth. You can call it out. I saw you nodding there. I saw a little trouble that you were having. It seemed like you were kind of nervous about a situation. Call it out because it shows that you're paying attention and you actually care about this person, right? It's all about them, not you or we. Sorry. Trust the process. Now, and number 9, listening is value. Okay, so I'll send this over to Joe. So if anybody wants this, he can email this to you guys so you can get a deeper look at this, right? But I just want to give you a rough overview of what to expect if you want to get better. Okay, so group exercise. Okay, Joe, I'm going to do another exercise now. And I'm hoping you guys, after you guys learn the 5 levels, you guys can actually put in the chat and connect the pictures with what levels you believe it is. Can you guys do that for me?
Type it in the chat when we put the picture up. Type it in the chat what level of listening you think is happening in that picture.
And remember the stakes. Remember the stakes.
Slap
bet.
And if you're watching this on Facebook Live too, type it in the chat there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go, Joe.
All right, I'm kind of nervous. My palms are actually like kind of sweaty.
Okay. Let me ask you guys, what was the most useful thing first in the chat? Don't continue, Joe. You got to go through the other slides.
Okay. So I'm going to stop this share, and then if you want to talk, if we can go around and maybe ask what the most useful thing, and I'll cue.
Do we do the exercise first, or do we?
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, bring up the other PowerPoint. Let's do this exercise first, and then we'll do that at the end.
All right.
It's the other PowerPoint.
Here.
This is great, James. Thanks for putting yourself out there, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, I had no choice. Joe gave me the last minute. I was just thinking,
Great.
what the hell's going on?
Great value, man. Like, it's actually super relevant. And if you're listening to this right now and you're like, how does this make sense? You really need to delve into active listening, because I'm telling you, this will help you take your game to a whole new dimension if you can become a level 5 active listener with your clients.
All right. Can you everybody see my screen?
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to post my answer in the chat.
Okay, so there's 39 people, Joe. 39, man. It just takes 1 out of 39 to get it right.
Okay. Which level of listening are they choosing?
2, level 2, level 3, level 1. I want you guys to imagine being in this situation, talking to a cop. What level do you think they're listening to you at? Level 2, level 2, level 2, level 0. 0, awesome, I love it. 3, 2, 3. 2 and 3, good. 1. 4, Mark.
Okay, Jimmy, what are you thinking?
So I only saw 1 right answer here. And you're lucky, Joe. It's from Mark. Mark saved your ass right there. It's a level 4. So level 4 is you're still like taking notes, listening to every word that this person's saying, but they're probably judging you through their eyes, right? They're listening attentively, right? Because they want to know all the facts, but they're not really connecting with you as a human being. Can you guys relate to that now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, you guys can be wrong. It's okay, right? There's no specific like measurement to say, oh, for sure that's a level 3 or a level 2. It's just being more self-aware of the range that they're in. And we can jump in and out of levels all the time. Like one moment I can be talking to someone super connected, and then all of a sudden squirrel. I'll be ignoring, right? Like Joe's watching TV, and all of a sudden squirrel, and just shift, right? Super engaged and just shut off. Okay. So next slide, guys. So what level is this? One. 5, just kidding. 1. Well, it seems like everyone thinks that's level 1. 5, Joe.
Can we hedge our bets and have some people put some other numbers in if that's okay?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Joe.
I was going to write 2, but I wrote 1. I was influenced by the group.
How come you switched? Just from the influence?
I got influenced by the group, I think.
3, 2, 3.
Tell us, James.
So-
Suspense is killing me.
Okay, let me ask the people that thought it was level 3. Why did you guys think it was level 3? Nicole, Charles?
I think
Esther?
I think she's in timeout because she responded though and didn't see the other person's point of view.
Cute. That's so cute. Yeah, you could possibly be right, but I would say this is a level 1 because they're ignoring you. So let's say you're pissed off at, let's say you're gonna, little tussle with your daughter here, and you want to keep talking to her. Look at the body language. Is she ignoring you, or is she actually communicating with you? So yeah, it's a level 1. Okay, next,
Alright.
guys. This one should be an easy one. This is selective listening. All this noise around you, and you're picking out what to listen to. What level is that? Three. 2. Jason Smart. 3. Jason will not be influenced by the majority this time.
Although it worked out for me last time. So
You're hedging your bets.
yeah, no,
Love
I'm
it.
like, oh, geez.
3-3. Oh, seems like there's a general consensus of 3 here.
What's the answer, James?
It's actually number 3.
3. Oh,
You hedged your bet there. 4.
never go against the green.
Okay, so selective listening, yeah. Okay, picture number 4 here. So what level is this? Better not see some zeros here. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Joseph ready. 4, 2. Alexander. 4.
4.5.
4 to 5. I love it. 5, 5, 5, 4. 4. Okay. So Travis, can you guys can you let us know why you thought it was level 4?
I mean, it's mainly just kind of a gut feeling, but I don't know. There still might be some judgment from his perspective in this conversation.
Mhm. So from the body language, so what I'm hearing from you is that the body language is relaying that he could possibly be judging him here?
Perhaps, or I mean, that's kind of, he's thinking of it more of professional, like analytical, instead of like a human thing.
Yeah, show the chart again. Okay, so yeah, you could possibly be right, Travis. Like I said, we jump between ranges all the time, right? I'm not saying you're wrong here at all, but there's definitely that range. So it's a 5. It's actually a 5 to me. But you could be right, Travis. It could be a 4 too. So people do jump in and out. But just from a first glance, his physical cues showing empathy that the other person's in distress. That's sort of more of empathy listening, right? Even if he's faking it, just watching it, you could probably say that he's a level 5. Okay, on to the next one. Picture 5. What's the body language saying here? When you guys quickly look at it, what's your gut feeling when you think?
She doesn't feel fully understood or listened to, or
There's 2. You got to remember, there's 2 people here. There's not just one, right? So what's the overall consensus when you look at it?
I'm thinking that might be a 4 or 5.
3 to 4, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 3 to 4, 3. Four to five, 4. Well, everyone's pretty much in the ballpark. Yeah, it's between a 4 to 5. You're correct. Your gut feeling's getting better and better, guys. Good job, guys. So the next one. What level is this? What does your gut tell you? What level is this? We've all done this, or try to get away with this.
James, did you put together all the pictures for the slideshow?
Yeah, pretty much.
You did a bang up job, man.
One, 0, 0 to 2. 1, 1 to 2, 1, 1, 2.
Would have been great to have that in high school. Hey, Langdon.
Any more answers? You guys are getting closer and closer to the general consensus here. When you guys are giving answers, everyone's getting closer and closer together. There's no like.
Well, there's no listening happening here. So, I mean, how can you even give it a 1?
Yeah. Well, 1 is ignoring, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Theoretically, couldn't you say that he's pretending?
Yeah, you're right, Joe.
If he was just ignoring, like if you look at that first picture, the little girl was in a ball in the corner.
Yeah.
And like there was no pretending, but this guy's at least pretending.
Pretending, exactly. So yeah, you got it right on, Joe. It's a level 2. It could be possibly a level 1, but you're right on. It's a level 2.
I noticed Joe Moretti's taking this one really personally. Is there a reason for that, Mr. Moretti?
Yeah, 5 across the eyes gets you wide awake.
Yeah,
Real quick.
I'll get hit if I don't.
In slow-mo.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so 7. What does your gut tell you? No thinking, just feel. What does it tell you? Hit it in the chat. 4, 1, 1, 1, 3, 2, 1. It's like a countdown here, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. 2, 1, 1 to 2. You're welcome, Mark. You leaving us? Okay, guys. So yeah, the general consensus is a little wacky here, but it's a level 1 because this person's just in a bad state, ignoring you. And usually when people ignore you, they're really in a bad state, right? They're hurt of some sort. They can't listen. We're all through this. It's a deeper conversation that we can possibly have later on of why we're in those states and what barriers that may come upon us to actually not listen. Like, it's easy to say listen, but a lot of times we're humans. So environment's going to actually affect us. Physically, things can affect us. Psychologically, things can affect us where we don't listen, even though our intention is to listen, right? So this is a clear example of a 1. So this little child is really hurt. She's not going to listen. So she's ignoring you. So picture 8. Quick answers, guys. I want quick answers. I don't want you to think about it. Just feel. What is it? 5, 5, 4. 5, 5, 4, 4, 5, 4. So I have to go. No worries, Harj. Thanks for showing up. 3. Joseph. Zach. 5. Zach. 5. Rob. 4. Cool. So Joe, can you answer me? Why did you think it was a level 3 when you looked at this picture? What was your gut telling you?
I guess I'm polarized between like interpreting the practitioner versus the patient, and I think it's like a two-way street. I'm assuming this is a therapy session, and so I was kind of judging the patient for maybe not listening to because you have to listen to what the therapist says too. And I see that maybe they're just there for more of a one-sided venting session, which is okay too.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so it's actually a level 5, but what Joe was saying is true. But if we're looking at this from the outside perspective, let's say a third party, the odds are the psychiatrist is really listening to what the person's saying because they have to unravel the onion to figure out what this person's in pain about, right? So yeah, this person could be listening to the psychiatrist, but odds are the psychiatrist is just trying to unreveal layers of the onion to figure out what this person is thinking, right, and feeling. So yeah, it's a level 5, guys. So the next one. I see a lot of confused looks on your faces here.
3.
This is my ace in the hole for the slap bet right here. This is the ace in the hole. 2, 2, 3. 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Thanks, Deb. 2, 2. 2. Okay. So yeah, you guys are right. It's actually a part 2 to 3. You guys are getting a lot better at this. Because what's going on? This person's talking to him, but then all of a sudden automatically shuts off and starts thinking about their own stuff, right? So they're kind of pretending here, right? Good job, guys. So thanks, Rob. So what's this one?
3.
What's your gut telling you? Don't think, just put it in. 3, 4, 3. 3, 4, 3. 3, 4, 3. Everyone's really close to each other. 3, 3, 3. 3, 4. No outliers here. Everyone's pretty much on the same board here. So yeah, it's actually probably a level 4. Oh,
I think I lost it there. All right, James.
okay.
Let's wrap this thing up, my friend.
Okay, so that was it. Thanks for participating, guys. Hopefully you learned something.
That was awesome, dude. Thank you so much. I think that was really helpful to kind of be aware. And if anybody's wondering how this ties into real estate, promise you, if you become an active listener, where you really can get to that level 5 with your clients, with your prospects, how they walk away feeling is going to make a huge impact in how they feel about you. And I guarantee you will see massive conversion differences. So if you're trying to compete, or you're trying to sell, or you have an agenda or a yeah, but focus, then you're probably in level 3 listening, and you're not getting the results you want. So really apply some of this, and I promise you'll see a big difference. So again, James, thank you so much for your time today. This was really, really valuable. And yeah, I hope everybody has an amazing day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Remember, guys, if anybody wants a copy of this presentation, we'll be housing it in our content library. So please, please, please check it out. James, phenomenal, man. Yeah, that was a beauty slideshow. Love having you as a guest. Again, good friend, amazing, amazing value and content. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching. If you really found this valuable, smash the like button below, subscribe to our YouTube page, and then look for more amazing content.